Hey boys, what's going on? iJustRengar here, and welcome back to another iJustRengar video. Today's video is sponsored by u.gg, which is an amazing site used to found builds and counters for pretty much any champion in the game, and you can really use this to benefit your own play. For example, let's say you're not the best and you don't really know exactly what Tryndamere does or exactly what kind of damage he can do. You can really quickly go, look him up, and see, okay, he has Bloodlust, he has Spitting Slash, he has Mocking Shout, and you can see what each one of those abilities do. Because of that, it enables you to better play against him, because if you know exactly what he has, you can't really be outsmarted by too much. In addition to this, it shows pro builds for pretty much any champion. It shows counters and what beats and what he beats. And it shows the matchups pretty much in their entirety, which in this one, Rengar seems to do fairly well. But anyways, I hope to see you guys using this site, and I hope to see you guys on the Rift. Anyways, we're going to get right into this video, and I hope that you all enjoy it. Hey boys, welcome into the game. Sadly, I just recorded this entire video yet again, and I literally forgot to record, so it feels good, man. But anyways, coming into this video, we are going to be playing Rengar top, going up against the Tryndamere, as we were saying before, and we take a longsword and 3 potions. That way we can kind of out-sustain the Tryndamere's Q heals. So anyways, going into this game, we have to be careful because Tryndamere does have Ignite, and at level 6, his ulti is very powerful. So anyways, let's just see how this goes. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call for an early invade, which ends up paying off very well because we get the Tryndamere's flash. Now to kind of skip forward a little bit, I'm just going to show you basically what I'm doing is heading towards the top lane and just getting ready to kind of start this clear. So as you can see, my team kind of made an unlucky play onto the enemy team and gave up first blood, which not the worst thing that could have happened because they could have lost too, but still not the best thing that could have happened. So okay, oh, they trade back, that is good, right? And well, you know, we'll see. But anyways, right now what you're doing is Rengar top lane. What you always want to do if your laner's late to lane is stack your ferocity, because that's going to enable you to have very high damage combos that basically mean that you're going to be the one that dictates how the lane phase goes. So right here you can see that I started out this very well, and I was able to basically have 4 ferocity from the start, which basically zones him. Like, he can't really do too much now, because if I go on him, he's going to lose about 150 health from Empowered Q, another 120 health from my regular Q, and he really just can't afford to do that at this early stage in the game, especially considering he went Doran's Shield with only 1 potion instead of Longsword with 3. Which is why I went Longsword with 3, is to kind of out-sustain him. So anyways, looking at us right here, we can kind of see that the Amumu is trying to go for an invade after he got one of his camps. So a little bit questionable, but because of that, I know that I can play up, because I know for a fact if I'll see Graves or won't see Graves. So right now, you can see that Amumu is going for the counter jungle onto his chickens, and that seems to be working out okay. And you can see that we're kind of just doing basically whatever we want because we know where they all are, except Annie. I'm a little bit worried about Annie right now, which is why I'm kind of like playing back a little bit. But now that I see him see Graves, I'm like, okay, there's no way that Annie would go for me, so I can play a little bit more aggressive. So I instantly go in for a quick trade, because I know that a quick trade is definitely the thing to do. Obviously, because it makes it so it's a little bit harder for him to kill me later on, especially if I get ganked by Graves after. So right now, an important thing just happened. Graves got the kill onto my jungler, and he went back to lane. So we know where Graves is right now, so we have to be careful. A jungler gank this early in the game could basically spell defeat for me. So I need to kind of be a little bit careful, and I'm actually in a decent spot considering that I have Flash, and I have 2 ferocities, so I could get an Empowered E and basically use that. So we see Graves is like basically over here, and the reason why we quote-unquote see it is just because, like, I mean, where else would Graves go at this point in the game? He just killed Amumu. There's almost nowhere else that he would need to go except for his blue buff to steal it. So right now, notice how I'm holding my ferocity until the last second, and then I'm queuing for the move speed and to hold it. Luckily, I'm actually able to get this Q off, which is massive, and it helps me get a lot of damage off, which in conjunction with Ignite secures me the kill. Now, what you need to be aware of as Rengar is that this actually puts you at a slight disadvantage, because now both you and Tryndamere are healing champions. Him with his Q, you with your W. He has the Ignite advantage over me, so I have to be a little bit careful. By the way, this Tryndamere is a one-trick Tryndamere with over 300 games, and right now, I think in this game he was in his promos to D2, so he's not a bad Tryndamere by any means. So right now what I'm doing is I'm kind of staying in the minion wave, and I'm poking him down whenever he goes for CS, making sure to abuse my W and to abuse my electrocute. Now, to use Rengar's W correctly, you basically want to make sure that whenever they're using multiple ticks of damage on you, you're using your W. And by multiple ticks, I mean, instead of just him, like, auto attack, auto attack, auto attack, whenever he uses 2 auto attacks right next to each other, or if he uses an auto attack and an E, that's when I'm going to use my W, because that's the most health back that I could possibly get for it. In lane, you really want to use your W pretty much only for maybe last hitting a minion, if you can afford that, but other than last hitting a minion, you only really want to be using it for re-healing from poke. That way you can stay in lane for longer. I don't really kill him too much. I just kind of, like, play around with him. By the way, notice what I did there? Auto attack Q auto attack onto that ward is going to really enable us to get quite a bit of damage now. By the way, if I had ignite there, he would have probably died. Especially because he would have gotten his Q heal negated, and that would have done quite a bit more damage. But anyways, I know that he has to back here, so I'm going to shove this lane out as fast as I can. Sadly, I missed like a lot of CS, dude. I'm garbage. But I end up shoving this lane out, and then I just head right back to my lane. So, because I see Tryndamere roaming, I know, okay. Wait, actually, let me go back really quickly, because I accidentally hit speed through. Sorry. So, I see Tryndamere roaming, and the reason why is because we see Amumu's counter-jungling Graves. By the way, note Graves is level 4, that's very important. So we see Amumu is counter-jungling Graves, and we can see that he's about to get sandwiched. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to sandwich them. So I ulti. Now, instead of going for the Tryndamere, because he's level 6, I'm going to leap instead onto the level 4 Graves. And the reason why is because, for one, Tryndamere has 800 health. For 2, Graves has literally pretty much the same exact amount. He actually has less health, despite him being full HP. Now, on top of this, we also know that Tryndamere has his ulti, which makes unkillable. So if I go onto the Graves, Graves doesn't have that ability, so I can actually kill Graves. So I leap onto Graves right away, and luckily we're actually able to kill him, and he uses his flash. And right here, let's just not watch that. Oh god. But it's still nice because we end up getting Tryndamere's flash as well. So anyways, overall, that ends up being a 1-for-1 on what should have been a 1-for-0. And we end up coming out okay on that, despite the fact that I end up dying. What we're going to do now is we're going to kind of watch me, and we're going to see how I eventually kind of transition out of just laning and start moving into roaming. So again, right now there's a 2,000 gold differential between my team and the enemy team. Which, if you think about it, is absolutely massive. 2,000 gold at 8 minutes, and it's actually been that way since 5 minutes, is a very substantial difference between what we had before. So you have to be a little bit careful here. So right now I'm waiting in that bush, that way I can kind of bait him into coming, and then he just uses his ability that lowers my AD, and then he knows that I'm still there, so it doesn't really work too well for me. But anyways, by the way, cooldown 14 seconds, thanks u.gg. But anyways, so right here, we kind of head back, and the reason why is because we see Annie roam bot, but we have no idea where Graves is. And I head over here, and at this point I'm a little bit suspicious because when he starts moving up like this, there's no reason for him to do it. So right now, I could have leapt to him, but I immediately was like, wait a second. So I see him there. So the first move that I make, so if he W's right there, he's most likely going to Q around the same spot because he knows that, like, it hit me, so he's going to see, like, a damage indicator that I'm here. So I immediately run to the side, for 1, to get out, and for 2, because I think that he's going to Q, which he does end up Qing. And then I'm immediately using my double W, that way I can heal back a lot of HP, and then I use my ulti. Now, instead of going on the low HP Trin, again, remember that he has his ulti, so I go onto the Graves instead, and I ignite him right away, knowing that I'm going to be able to get a kill no matter what because of that. So we end up getting the kill on Graves, and we get the Tryndamere's ulti out, which enables this Amumu to come in and get the quick kill. Now, sadly, because we just used our ultimate top lane, that means that we cannot use it going bot lane again, which is pretty feels bad, man. But we are going to be able to head up to top lane and basically just farm a little bit because Tryndamere was killed, and we can just kind of wait for our ulti cooldown. When you're playing Rengar top, you really want to use your ulti mid and bot as often as you can. It's a really, really effective roaming tool, and it works out very, very well for you. Now, the only problem with this is that the Tryndamere pushes very, very well, but aside from that, it's pretty easy to go for a gank. Now, if we do end up losing a turret because of the Tryndamere pushing while we're gone, we just have to make sure that it's worth it by making sure that we get at least 1 stack. So that means that we either kill the Annie, or we kill the Varus, or we kill the Pike, something along those lines. Because we already have 1 stack onto the Graves, we just need to get another stack onto, you know, pretty much everybody else on their team. So I head back, and I immediately, like I said, start running bot lane. The reason why I was able to pick up my Duskblade, I have my slightly magical boots for a lot of move speed, and I have my Tiamat, so I deal quite a bit of damage here. By the way, Tiamat for Rengar top is essential because it allows you to clear waves very, very quickly. So right here, I use my ulti a little bit early because I know that my flash is up. So worst comes to worst, I can flash for him, and I do end up flashing for him. Now, he misses his ulti there, which is a little bit funny, but I would have been fine either way. For one, because Amumu rooted this guy here, and for two, because I could have saved my empowered Q and waited for an empowered W. But as soon as I saw him whiff his ulti, I was just like, alright, I'm just gonna empowered Q. So anyways, we see Annie here, and I immediately just react by leaping to the bear to get closer to her. Always leap to things to get closer. And then I run back, and I pick this up. So sadly, the Lucian dies there. I don't think that I could have saved him by killing the bear. Maybe I could have, but doubtful. So anyways, I don't interrupt this guy because I don't have my E right now. But let me just fast forward this a little bit. So anyways, we see that Tryndamere is pushing my turret, and sadly he does get my turret, despite not having any damage on it before now. So I'm just going to be like, alright, you know what? I'm just going to shove this wave. And we see the pike, and I'm like, okay, buddy, yeah, that was a little bit questionable. But then I kind of stick around a little bit too long, and you can kind of see the after effects of that right here. Where I go for that, and then I'm like, okay, maybe not, and then I go for the caddy, and I actually use my ferocity, that way I can make sure that I get the caddy, and that's when they go in, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm such an idiot. However, I still have my basic abilities, which means that I can leap right onto the Varus, and I end up killing the Varus while also getting the Pike Ignite and the Varus heal, which is absolutely massive. It's time to look at what we can do to kind of spice up this game to get a little bit more gold going to our team, and to kind of make the odds a little bit better for us winning. So right here, I'm just kind of pushing this wave, seeing if I can get a little bit of damage on the turret. So I end up heading back. Now, immediately, again, like I said, roaming as Rengar top is the most important thing. If you can be like a second jungler, that is ideal. Especially if you can keep maintaining your lane presence. We see the Graves. Immediately, I start running down and I ultimate. Because I know that I can catch him. So, I start running down, we see the Graves, and boom, we one-shot the Graves. Now, again, he's 6 and 4, and I was 4 and 3, but I know my damage limitations, so I'm able to kill him. By the way, up here, I only took those 3, and the reason why I didn't take those 2 is because if I walk on that and get slowed, and Tryndamere's in this bush, all he has to do is Mocking Shout and then E to me, and there's no way that I'm going to survive. So anyways, I head out over here. Another quick tip, if you're going to take a jungler camp, take a fringe camp. By fringe camps, I mean Gromp, and I mean Golems. And the reason why that's important is because if a jungler is going for a clear, these central camps are going to be most important to it. Let's say he wants to go from, let's say Golems to chickens to wolves to Gromp. If his chickens are gone, then that means he has to walk all this way without a camp. But if you take the, let's say the Golems instead, then he only has to walk to the chickens and then walk up. And that saves him a lot of time that he would have to be walking over nothing and getting no gold efficiency out of it. So what you really want to do is if you do have to take a jungler camp, or if you are going to, take a fringe camp rather than a regular camp. That also applies to the enemy jungler. If you can take any of his camps, number one, the Krugs, because they give the most XP and gold. But if it's down to, like, let's say Gromp or Wolves, take the Wolves. They mean a little bit more. So anyways, we're heading over here. I don't have my ulti, despite what this says. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to be an E-bot for my team. If you are going to be with your team when your ulti is down, you really are only useful for your E's. So make sure that you're using them, and make sure that you're using your other abilities to kind of get more E's out. So like using my Q on the minion, using my W for ferocity, that way I can get my E down, and that's going to enable us to get a couple of kills there, which go a little bit further towards lessening the gold gap between the two teams. So right here, we go for the dragon, and then we come over here. Because I have Duskblade on, I'm like, alright, yeah, there's no vision in here. So I just kind of chill there. But they end up just going for the Rift Heralded Head, which instead, which is a little bit of bad luck for us, but you know what? It's whatever. So anyways, basically my entire team backs right now. And rather than going back, which even though I have ulti, so it would be like nice to do, I say, okay, I'm talking in voice comms with the Rengar. I'm like, okay, can we hold? And he says yes. So sadly he ends up going down. But with Vel'Koz, Lucian, who has his ulti up, and the combination of Amumu, I know that we should be able to hold that. So what I do now is, especially considering their ADC is dead, so what I do now is I go and I run straight for their turret. Now, using my Q as an auto-attack reset here, which is absolutely imperative as Rengar. You always want to use your Q as an auto-attack reset whenever possible, because it enables you to get so many more auto-attacks off. So right now you can see I'm just shoving this lane as fast as I possibly can. And then again, we end up seeing they are able to defend despite the Rift Herald. And because of that, we're able to get a lot of work done down here. Getting not just one turret, but we're actually able to get 2 inhibitor turrets here. Now, what you might be thinking is, okay, how did that hit you? I'm thinking, okay, I need to run away. Now, I ulti, but then I see, okay, Graves is somewhere over here. My teammate's calling it out to me, and I'm like, okay, if I go on him, I'm just going to get killed by Graves, because Graves can walk over and he can just auto-attack me and I'll die, because I can't reach him, right? So I say, okay, would it be better to go on Varus or just run away? And so my initial thought is probably just run away, because if I go on Varus, Graves can run down, Pyke can run over. So no matter what, I'm going to be caught between 2 people. However, as I'm running away, I see another option. I see that Graves is very low HP. Just Rengar things. And because of that, I'm like, alright, wait, I can just go for Graves. So I just go on Graves, I ignite him because I know that Ignite's going to do a heck of a lot of damage, and I'm able to kill him and not be sandwiched by anyone, which is absolutely massive. So right here, you can see that I'm now 6-3, which is very, very good for being on the losing team. And at this point, I'm like, alright, I'm going to push out top lane a little bit and see if I can get more objectives. Objectives are the key to winning. By the way, the reason I run back here is because I didn't know if Tryndamere was coming with the lane or not. Then I saw him up here, and I instantly started pushing. So we end up seeing Tryndamere show up right here. So I'm like, oh gosh, alright, we gotta be a little bit careful. Which, he doesn't use his ulti for some reason. Like, it's up. Like, that's just a misplay from him. So, luckily, I'm able to kind of just push this. My teammates do very well. By the way, it's not just, like, having faith in your team, it's knowing your team comp versus their team comp. So our team comp, having an Amumu is a hard counter to, the Tryndamere, because his ulti makes him completely unable to move or use his auto attacks, which are his primary source of damage, for a full 2 seconds, which allows the Lucian to kite around at the same exact time and basically just do whatever he wants. So I know that we should be able to at least hold them in a team fight, and because of that, that's why I'm splitting. I'm also splitting because I know that I can 1v1 almost everybody on their team, so they have to send somebody high priority to deal with me. So they either send Tryndamere or they send, oh look, Annie. So I'm going to be quiet and just watch this play. Do we get out, boys? Do we get out? Do we get out? Whoa! Let's go! Bonner's dead! You can go back and watch that in slow-mo if you want. I know that I would want to do that. But anyways, right here, we use the Q leaping bug, by the way. That's why we deal a little bit of damage at the beginning. And we know that Tryndamere just spawned a second ago. We see 2 of them down here, and we see that, and we know that Annie is dead. So immediately, rather than just going and leaving, I start pushing this turret because I'm fairly sure I can get it. Now we see Graves start to roam up, and the first thing that I do is that I just take a couple of minions, and then I just run away. And the reason why is because I do not want Graves to roam up and get a free kill on me for absolutely nothing. So again, I'm just going to get over and run away. If you can get an objective and then possibly get away afterwards, that's always going to be ideal. So right here, I'm just getting enough gold for Edge of Night. So I end up picking up the Gromp. I still don't have enough, so I'm like, alright, I'm just going to stick around and see if I can do anything. However, my team kind of just destroys that guy. So I'm like, alright, never mind. And then I see Pyke, and I'm like, oh yeah, perfect, free gold. So I head over, and I'm able to just really quickly kill the Pyke and get a free ward. And then we're able to kind of come over here, snare him, and completely miss the timing. Feels good. But anyways, at this point, we're doing fairly well, and they call a Baron, so I'm like, alright, you know what? I'll believe in it. However, the Baron literally hit me like the entire time, which just feels bad, man, and then this happened. A new team comes in, they kill him. I just wanted to do damage to him, they kill me. And then it's just Lucian. And then Lucian kills the Baron. And then he kills the Varus. Moving back into waiting for me to spawn, we can see that I went triple lethality this game, and the reason why is because nobody on their team has built any armor except for Pyke. Literally no armor. And lethality is one of the biggest counters to no armor. So right here, I didn't actually do anything yet. I'm actually going for an angle on the fight. Always try to get an angle on the fight, okay? Getting an angle on the fight is the best way to get to their backline. So you can see right here, Graves and Varus are right next to each other, and I'm able to, Pyke is expecting me to come from here, go from the exact opposite side, and end up basically just destroying those two, which is absolutely massive. Sadly, I don't kill Pyke because his passive's OP, but what can you do? But yeah, so we end up getting the inhibitor here, and then always know when to back. We could have went for another inhibitor, but we probably would have died. So what we're doing is, instead we're just leaving and we're going away. So at this point, we don't actually know that these camps are down. So what I'm doing is I'm just checking all of these camps to see if I can steal any. It's always useful to steal the enemy jungler's camps, because that basically gives them absolutely nothing to farm and no way to gain gold, because of the fact that, obviously, I mean, if he has no farm there, what's he gonna do, you know what I mean? So anyways, right here, we see these guys over here, and I'm like, you know what? I only have 1,900 unspent gold on me. Might as well go in and kill myself, right? So, of course, I go in. I get 1 kill. I might have been able to get 2 kills, but instead I, you know, kind of in. So, you know, feels bad, man. But, you know, it's not too bad. Because we end up getting the trade. Let's go. So right now, I say, I wonder if I can literally just run down mid and get a kill. And let's see how that goes. Looks like I can indeed run down mid and get a kill, which is very interesting. Now, that's actually really, really nice because we're able to just kill the Varus pretty much for free. And then I take this wave, and the reason why is because I see that Tryndamere is pushing. And I really want to, like, kind of minimize the impact that even more minions would have to that. So we don't have to go back now because I kind of stopped that wave. So it's going to kind of make it a little bit easier for the turret to deal with this wave when it eventually crashes on the tower. Because then when our minions reach it, they won't have any minions backing them up, and it'll be a little bit better for us. So right now, I don't have my ulti up, but again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to head over an E. I'm stacking my ferocity right now. Basically, just do what you can as Rengar. So right now, you can see, boom, baby. Able to just kill her. And right now, I wait for my Edge of Night to channel, and then I go in. And boom, we're able to take out the Pike as well. So that's really, really nice. And because it's only an inhibitor, I know that I can just run up to it and grab it rather than do anything else. By the way, really quick important thing to note, Varus or any other champion with a root, except, by the way, for Jinx Chompers are awful. If you leap before they snare you, you will get the leap off and you will land on them. So if you Q Tiamat, they will most likely die. And you can see that here, when I get close enough to leap, I get rooted, but I'm still able to kill him. And at this point, I head back and I'm able to purchase a Last Whisper. And because I don't think this game will go on for very much longer, and Baron's coming up, so that's an important fight, I end up going for an Elixir of Wrath as well, because that just kind of enables you to have a little bit better fighting for a little while, which is very useful if it's a Baron followed by an Infernal Dragon, because those are both very, very important objectives, and they're very, very good for you to get if you can. So anyways, looking at this, I'm just going to kind of speed this up. We can see that they're kind of fighting top lane, so what I do is, I was going to start pushing, and then I'm like, alright, maybe I can get a catch. So I immediately run over here, I see the Graves, and I'm able to kill him. I run over to this Varus, and he flashes the wall, and I'm like, alright, well, can't really do much now. Feels bad. But either way, I do end up getting 2 free wards, so I'm going to call that worth. Right now, at this point in the game, I am hyper-fed. Nobody on the enemy team has built any armor, still, except for Annie did actually get a Zhonya's. So I can just head down mid and then get a kill, realistically. So I head down mid, and at this point I know I can probably burst him before he can ulti, so I kind of take advantage of that. I do as much damage before I go down, and then I basically go down. And at that point, I know, okay, that trade must have been worth it because I think we can get the end. I killed 2, I got 1 to less than half HP. At this point, we should be able to end the game with what I've given my team, and it looks like we are able to end the game at this point. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. Thank you to U.GG for sponsoring this video. Please leave me your comments below and just let me know exactly what you guys have been feeling. And yeah, just tell me what's been going on, guys. I appreciate you guys watching this video. I hope that you all enjoyed, and I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Have a good one, guys. Peace.